Warm greetings from the High 10. This is Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. I would like to talk about the absent mother. The mother who chose to have children but didn't keep her children. Now, we know that people, women in general, can have facets of reasons why they don't keep their children, don't raise their children. Could be sick, could be mentally ill, trouble with the law, just not ready. Poor choice of courtships, friendships, and the ultimate, just don't want them. If someone harms their children, state steps in, removes their children. So let's just say the children are removed. She has several children, and each child has been removed out of her care through the state and or other participants deciding to step in to take custody of the said children. And the mother decides that she will not do what she needs to do to get her children back because possibly and ultimately she doesn't want her children back. But she will lead people to think through the years that it is other people's fault, their fault why she doesn't have her children. It is the state's fault. It is the doctor's fault. It is this person's fault. It is the neighbors. It's always someone else's fault except her own because she doesn't want to own up to others, possibly herself, that she was not a good parent, that she didn't do what she needed to do to be a good mother. And so one could say that if the state ever stepped in, then obviously you were doing something you should not have been doing for your children to be removed out of your care, especially if there's more than one child that has been removed out of your care via the state and other participants, relatives, fathers, whomever, step in and say, hey, I want to raise this child or this child here. You see, there are mothers who don't want to be a parent, but they will continuously lie down and have sex unprotected and give birth and do frivolous, disrespectful things to themselves and their child, either in the womb or when the child is born. Not watching the child, leaving the children with other people who are not responsible, not watching the child and or abusing the child, and now the state steps in because of something, allegation, incident, a crime, could even be murder. And now she doesn't have custody of her said children, be it by her own neglect, doing things to the children in the womb, and or, as I stated, after birth. Abuse could also come from the mother, abusing her children, the company she keeps, people she's leaving in the care of these said people to watch the child. They could also be abusing the child. Now she doesn't have custody. And she has shown the world that she doesn't care about her children because she never took the necessary steps to get her children back. And down the road, years later, she may cry wolf that a grave injustice was done to her by the removal of her children. But we have to ask ourselves, the state cannot just step inside a box that they were not invited into unless they were invited by neglect, and they had no choice but to remove the children from the said mother. And if you see this more than one time in a woman's life, that her children were removed out of her care more than one time, there's no way you can say it was Peter, Paul, Joe's fault. The state is picking on me. No, you did not do what you needed to do to take care of your children. And so the state was called, be it by an incident with your child, to where your child had to go to the hospital, injury, neglect, abuse. You got in trouble with the law, and so forth. The state stepped in and saw fit that your children should not be in your care. What baffles me is the fact that a person would not comply with rules and regulations to get their child back and cry wolf later that injustice has been put upon their back and on their head pertaining to their children that they do not have. But yet they're living a life to show you that they don't care about getting their children back. They're still doing things that possibly the state said, now don't do this. Don't hang with this person or these people so you can get your children back. But the mother doesn't comply and still does what she wants to do. Still lives the life of Riley, but yet cry wolf. I love my children. I miss my children. And the sick thing about not having the children is the lies that she tells people that she wants her children back. But as I state, she doesn't do what she needs to do to get her children back. So she continues to live the life she wants, partying and drinking, smoking, indulging in drugs, frivolous behavior, unwanted, let's just say sexual liaisons with men, still probably not using protection, contraceptives to ward off being pregnant again. Lying with any Tom, Joe, Dick, Harry, street men, could be bums, could be gang members, could be anybody, but not the best guy. Never doing what she needs to do, bettering herself. And possibly one day she does better herself, but a little late. Children are already gone. And why should other people be raising the children? Stepping in to raise the children? And maybe it's not that they don't want to, but they had no choice because they wanted what was best for the said children. So they stepped in to help raise her other children. But the sick part is, she doesn't even care about those children that she could see and have access to. Fathers have given permission. You could come see the children, pick them up, take them out, call. But she won't. Won't even pick up the phone to call her own children that she has access to. Why is that? And do you know how disrespectful that is? That you don't have custody of your children, but yet the ones you do have access to, you won't even pick up the phone to call. You won't even pick them up for a visit or visit the home where they're staying with a said relative, parent, But you will let other people think in the street that you're a good person, a good mother. But only a fool would believe that. Because one would have to ask himself or herself, well, if she is a good mother, why doesn't she have custody of her children? Why are her children scattered around by different participants? Why are different people, fathers, other people, parties, entities, the state, have her children? Yes. You see, the writing is on the wall. It has always been on the wall. It's just a matter of, do you want to hear and see the writing on the wall? It's always been there. She does not care. You see, it is foul to mislead a child. You see, you can lie to yourself and make yourself believe that you are a good person, a good parent, mother. You can lie on Facebook, social media, cry wolf, so people can feel sorry for you and make up wild, imaginative stories of why you don't have your children. But really, you've never told the truth why you don't have all your children. Because you've never told the complete truth. Because you know that if you told the complete truth, they would see the real you. But see, some of us who are woke, we do know the real you and don't even have to know you. Because the writing is on the wall. It has always been on the wall. You lie to your child, making him or her think, them, that you're going to come around, you're going to call, you're going to visit, but you have no intention of being in their lives. You don't pick up the phone, you don't visit, you don't pick them up. And you go month to month to month without even a phone call. And that is cruel to a child who still believes in you and cares for you and loves you as his or her mother. So why don't you just tell the truth? You never wanted to be a parent. And if you did, somewhere down the line, you lost faith in yourself, you lost hope in the job itself, and you bailed out. And now that your children are here, there, and there, you're still lying to them. Because you see, in the end, they're the most important. Because they're the ones showing you favor by still wanting you to be their mother. And you're lying to them by not calling, visiting, spending time with them, picking them up, taking them shopping, taking them places, helping them with schoolwork, being available. So why don't you do yourself a favor and your child and children a favor and bail out completely? Go to your child and tell him or her or them, I can no longer play the game because I never intended to be in the game. And that's why I don't have you in my custody, because I never intended to ride the ride, the entire ride. I have failed you and my other children. I have failed myself, and I take whole responsibility for that failure. I'm not ready to be a mother. I can't be your mother because I am not whole myself. You see, your child would respect you if you come to the table complete and come correct. And then somewhere down the road, maybe you will be able to put those shoes on, or at least just be a friend to your child or children, and they can respect you because you came to them wholeheartedly, truthful, honest, and dignified. But to lie to a child is the ultimate betrayal, because he or she is lying and sitting around waiting for you to call, waiting for you to visit, but you have no intention of showing up. Because as I stated, you've been checked out when they were in the womb. You did what you wanted to do while they were in the womb. All over the place, here, there, doing what you want, smoking, drinking, getting high, not taking care of your body, yourself, your mind, your spirit. You gave birth. You didn't do what you needed to do as far as putting them in the right hands and care, leaving them with any Tom, Dick, and Harry, Joe, Paul, Peter, Susie. Something terrible happened, and the children were removed out of your care. Then it happened again, and then again, and again, and again, and again. With however many you got, be it 4, 5, 6, you don't have any of your children. But yet you cry wolf down the line, down the road, saying you're a good person. But I know that you're not, because you are not honest. You owe your children the truth, that you're not cut for the job. And it's okay if you're not, but be honest about it. Be honest with your children. You see, outsiders don't matter because they don't pay your bills. They don't do anything for you. So be honest with your child, because somewhere down the road, he or she's going to come a-knocking when he or she is older, and they're going to come to you directly and ask you, what was your damn problem? And what are you going to say? You're going to try to make up more lies and stories. Tell him or her and them the truth. You checked out. It wasn't for you. It wasn't in you to be a parent. The streets were more important. Tom, Dick, Harry were more important. Susie, Mae, Shamika, whomever, they were more important. Hanging in the streets, doing my thing, twerking was more important. Hanging out all night and day in different people's houses and couches and all that was more important. My self-respect was not important. Because the streets talk. They always talk. They always have. And always will. And somebody's going to tell your business that you like to be out twerking and popping and shaking instead of being at home and being a mommy. Sometimes the street lies, sometimes they don't. But the least you can do is be honest with your child and your children and tell him or her, I can't be a mother right now. I don't have what it takes to be your parent, but I love you. Do yourself a favor. Stop making up stuff. Social media. Trying to make people and prove to people that you are fit and worthy when you know you are not. Because a sane person can read through all the slick talk. And all they have to do is say to him or herself, you checked out a long time ago. And you proved that by losing custody of all your children. So I don't need an explanation. I don't need a long paragraph. I don't need continued Facebook posts of who you are and what you're about. The writing is on the wall because it's always been on the wall. And you've done yourself a disservice by being a liar and a cheat and a fraud. Because you've done this to yourself, you've done this to your child, and you've also done it to other people trying to make them feel sorry for you. Because you owe the child and the children the whole truth. You owe them the whole truth. There comes a time in a person's life when he or she needs to grow up and realize that the street don't love you. It ain't never loved you. It can't love you because it don't love itself. It's a user, abuser, manipulator, grand manipulator. And it's time for you, Miss Lady, to grow up and realize everybody ain't your friend. And that what you're looking for ain't out there in those streets. It never has been. It never will be. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to others. And most importantly, stop lying to your children. You don't own the right to pop up whenever you feel like it. Visit when you feel like it. Go months and don't even call and visit your damn kids. And someone has been kind enough to still let you see your children, talk to your children, and you can't even follow through. And then you leave the responsibility for the other parent, fathers, relatives, the state to rear your children because you've chosen not to. And that's also a burden to them, others who have to step in. Because obviously they've got a life too. They want to live too. They want to go places too. And maybe they can't because they're now taking care of a child. And of course, it is another parent's responsibility to step in if he can. But perhaps there are other people, such as relatives, sisters, mothers, grandparents, stepping in as well to assist. And maybe they are tired, not tired of the child, but tired of you, crying and moaning and trying to get sympathy that you're a good person. But yet you have shown that you checked out when they were in the womb. You checked out when they were born. And you've checked out now when you have access to them but won't even pick up a phone or visit them. You should turn over your rights and do the right thing and have no access to the children because you owe your children more than the lives you are spinning to them. And it is time for these people, the fathers, relatives, whomever, who are taking care of your children, to cut you off and do it the legal way by the courts. Because it is time for them to tell the children that you have never been invested in them and you don't care about them. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans.